Today has been a long time coming. I have wanted to make this particular episode of the Double D Experience for a while, and considering that last week's episode was our most viewed in a while, I feel like there has never been a more opportune and simultaneously unopportune opportunity to talk about this in the most exposé fashion that I could. I'm going to be talking about today on the Double D Experience podcast with my best friend in the whole fucking world, Dennis, the American Dream Mall. Yes, the famous American Dream Mall that you may have heard of, depending on what part of the country that you live in.
Sucks ass.
It sucks ass. And I'm going to go into great details as to why it sucks ass, not even as a consumer, but as a longtime employee of that establishment. Okay.
Oh, but David, remember? Breathe. Don't go off don't go off on a rager already too quickly.
I won't. I yelled too loud already, and I already heard my voice feed through your headset. So, you might be wondering to yourself, why today? Well, I'm going to be saying this as a, when I say that I used to work there, it's actually the longest running job I've ever had besides the seasonal Nintendo program that I do through the third-party marketing firm that Nintendo hires every year. I worked at the American Dream Mall for almost one exact linear year. Almost to the day, actually, if I'm being completely honest. I ran a kiosk right outside the Nickelodeon theme park. I worked directly for the mall on their payroll, and also for a private, what's the word I'm looking for here? Also for a private enterprise in they sold a specific toy. It was called a Shishibo Cube. It was the number one selling toy on Amazon for a while. I was their guy on the ground at the American Dream Mall selling those things, right? I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of, like, the ins and outs of, like,
he was the best salesman in Jersey.
I was decent. I got my stuff done.
The best in the state.
When there were actual people in that place, which usually there weren't. Probably because you have to pay to park there. But sunny side up, I loved working at that place when I started working there. It was, I thought it was pretty cool. I got all wide-eyed about the place. I'm like, oh, this is pretty neat. I probably should have taken it as a major red flag that it was when they hired literally every single person in our group interview. But I didn't think twice at the time. I had recently
but that's still just money in your pocket, though, at the end. Like,
it is,
who's
yes.
going to complain?
I had recently been laid off, for you longtime Double D Experience fans, by the Rise Brewing Company, a former sponsor of the Double D Experience, actually, because I worked directly for them. Remember when we did that plug? When discount code Nintoonist worked? Doesn't work anymore. I tried it. It's very, very sad news. Used to be able to get 10% off some pretty damn good cold brew coffee.
Oh, that was pretty good. It was.
Good. I loved Rise. I still drink it every now and again when I have it out in the spot. But okay. I used to
find someone else who has a code. We have to find another content creator that has a code.
Yeah, we do. Theirs. Or use honey. And by the way, guys, speaking of honey, no, okay, I gotta focus. I'm sorry, I'm very scatterbrained today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. David has a lot of words to say.
I've had my traumas at the American Dream Mall. It wasn't. I quickly learned what that place was slowly and grew like a bigger disdain for the place, and just in how things are ran there, just how horribly irresponsible they are with their money. That mall. Just the slew of incidents that they swept under the rug, and to put it into no better layman's terms, that mall is cursed. Like, I'm talking legit, like, white girl voodoo shit. Like, I fucking, like, somebody, like, made, like, a fucking, like, crochet, like, structure of the American Dream Mall, like one of those voodoo dolls, and they just fucking, poke in the back, like, over and over again, and yet somehow it's still standing. That place is a taxpayer-funded shithole, and I'm gonna explain to you how. So, I worked there for about a year, and all's fine and dandy, got too intertwined in the lives of my coworkers, but those aren't stories for the podcast, at least not for now. I learned quickly how irresponsible they were with their money, and mainly in how management treated our employees. They loved me. I could do no wrong. I seemed more mature compared to a lot of the younger people that work there. I was one of the oldest people that worked there in, like, the retail section. I was 25. So, like, there were a lot of teenagers that worked there. They would get caught on their phones. You're not allowed to be on their phones, blah, blah, blah. Micromanagement. It's one of the things I didn't like about that place. They talk to us like teenagers, right? That's one thing, right? Then comes April. And this is where I'm going to break into the story time right here. And this should really set the tone for a lot of the shit that I'm going to tell you guys about this mall. There was I was working at my kiosk. I was working, I think, an 8-hour shift, like 12 to 8 or something. 6 o'clock rolls around. All of a sudden, I see some people, like, treading a little fast in front of me. And then it slowly builds up until some sort of entourage of people running. That's when this old man, who had clearly seen some shit in his life, was walking nonchalantly, as if he was not nervous in the slightest.
I mean, but if you're old, it's like, it's like if I die, I die. Fuck.
I don't know about that, Chief. I could think of better places and ways to die than the American dream.
But maybe he's just seen enough shit where it's like, oh, if I die at this point, it's like, all right, well, I guess, I've had a
Well, that's
good
what I'm
life.
saying, bro. I think the dude was
like,
fucking ghetto. Like, he just was walking by me and he said, hey, man, you better start walking. They're shooting. And I said, what? And then I just turned the corner. And the traumatizing part about it is, like, the area where I heard the shots from was where my kiosk used to be. It wasn't there anymore. They moved it at the beginning of January to a different side of the hallway.
God loves
you,
man.
I heard shots from around the corner. Well, here's the thing. Well, the good news is that was not even where the shots were. It was nowhere near that location. But at the time, I did not know that. So I turn the corner. I hear gunfire. And what happens to your brain? And what mode of instinct do you go into when you hear gunfire inside of a mall? Absolute, unadulterated, pure fight or flight. The likes of which, that as a human being, I have never in my life experienced before, and I mean that. As a child, you get into some trouble if you're that kind of person. You and your friends just walking around town, being stupid, running away from each other, running away from bullies, maybe. No, the bullies, they kick your ass. You're not gonna die. This around the corner, I didn't know what the fuck was happening. It turned out to just be an isolated incident of something about a fucking gambling ring that was going on in the parking lot. The dude wouldn't give the other guys money. Guy takes out a gun, shoots him. Guy runs into the mall screaming for help. The shooter runs into the mall, fires a couple more shots at him to try to finish him off, and then runs away. But it wasn't a mass shooting. None of us knew any better at the time. Because when you hear the shots, that's just it. So, I didn't freak out. I didn't panic at first. When I say true unadulterated fight or flight, I mean it. I heard the shots, turned the corner, said, oh. And then I just bolted in the other direction. That's when I just ran. I didn't take my stuff. I didn't stop to grab anything. I told myself, I am not dying in this motherfucking piece of shit mall.
Wait, was this already after you had you started to form a pretty poor opinion of the place?
I started to form a pretty poor opinion of the place when I learned how unbelievably irresponsible and shitty the owners are, not only as people, but also with their money.
Okay.
Place is $6 billion in the hole. $6 billion with a B. And our tax dollars went to funding this place. A mall that none of us even fucking wanted.
Because no one really gives a fuck about the Meadowlands, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, more about that later.
Yeah.
So I ran, and it was only after I was done running that I ran into the cold, freezing rain out in a parking lot that was nowhere near where my car was, shivering from the cold, that I started to feel stress aches and pains all over my body, from my back to, like, my chest and to my legs. I felt all of that the next day when we were forced to come back into the mall. More on that later. And I'm just sitting out there with some other people who ran out the place. I call my mother, I call my father, just to, like, have my father come get me, because otherwise I can't leave. As I slowly watch the ambulances, like, run up, and the cops just slowly fill the place, because to the knowledge, that's what we all thought it was too. I wasn't going into lockdown at that fucking mall. The golden rule of retail is that, or what they train you in these things is, I think it's called RHF. It's run, hide, fight. Your first choice should be to run, which I did. 2 is to hide. If you can't run, is to hide. 3, if you can't run or hide and your only choice, that's to fight or try to incapacitate the shooter. I ran out the spot. I go to bed that night, glued to my phone, trying to get more information about the place. Friends I know, they're still in lockdown, waiting as the fucking National Guard is walking through. I saw the photos, man. I'll see if I can put them on screen. Literally walking around with K9 units and with assault rifles and everything. They had a small army in there, bigger than some third world countries, looking for this motherfucker, who they eventually caught. They got him like a month later. They found him holed up somewhere, I think.
Was he still in the mall all those weeks later?
That's what we talked about the next day. Literally, that's what we talked about the next day. None of us wanted to even fucking come in because we didn't know if this prick was still there. We were like so fucking concerned. And so unfortunately, we literally still had to come in the next day. They sent out the shitty corporate email. My boss texted me to ask me if I was safe because she didn't know where I was. You know, she's doing her rounds. She's not the shitty person. She was just the manager. Like, she doesn't own the fucking spot. She's just the head of the ERC, which is the Entertainment Retail Center. I come in the next day. They have a counselor and free munchkins that they offer us. You know, the shitty corporate thing that they do.
God.
They promised us the next day that there was going to be an increased security presence. There was not. I didn't see a single security guard in the place, as I was literally walking through all the way from the other side of the mall to my kiosk, which is directly in the heart of the place, right? I look around, I tell my manager, what the fuck is going on? Or like my team lead, what the fuck's going on? And they're like, yeah, we don't know. And I literally told her, like, if there's not more security in an hour, I'm leaving. The manager comes through after hearing me say that. She's like, what's going on? And I'm like, what do you mean what the fuck is going on? You lied to us. You said there was going to be, like, more people around here. She completely disregards my statement, and I promise you this story has a point, because this is where it gets juicy. I'm not just like a disgruntled employee just because of what happened here. It's because of this. She completely disregards my claim about more security, and then tells me, you have to delete that tweet.
Oh.
I had tweeted when I got home that there was a shooting at the American Dream Mall, and that I was safe. Because my friends knew I worked there. I wanted all my friends in the Smash scene at the time, and my friends and family to know I was safe. Because they were going to hear that there was a shooting at the spot. They're like, oh fuck, David works there. And then that happened, and everyone's like, thank God you're safe, blah, blah, blah. They told me I had to delete that tweet. That was her first response to me asking about more security. She says, you have to delete that tweet. And I said, first of all, how the fuck did you find my Twitter? And I know how they did, because I said American Dream Mall, and they were doing damage control. Not even a hashtag. They searched for it. There was no hashtag in the tweet. They fucking searched for it. And this is where the story gets juicy, and it's where it's going to get a little conspiratorial. More on that in a minute. They tell me I have to delete it. I had never told them my Twitter. I never disclosed any private information about myself to these people. They found it somehow because they were doing damage control after the news broke out and searching for the American Dream Mall. They were pressuring people on Twitter, as well as even local news organizations, to my knowledge, to not cover the shit. Their first instinct, before they even figure out what the fuck happened here, was PR, was press release. They were trying to cover it up, to make it seem like this shit didn't happen there, because they couldn't afford more bad press. This is what happened. I told her, why do I have to delete that tweet? She says, well, when you started working here, you signed a non-disclosure agreement saying that you wouldn't post negatively about the place. And I remember that specific dialect, or that specific sect of the contract. I actually do remember that part when I was signing it on to work at this place. I told her, I did not post negatively about the American Dream Mall. There was a fucking shooting here. I posted accurately. That's what happened. That's not negative press. Are you fucking joking? I was flabbergasted. Like, my jaw literally dropped when she told me that. I'm like, I couldn't believe the audacity of this bitch. I could not fucking believe it. She was more concerned, and I know it wasn't even her fault. I shouldn't even fucking say that about her. HR fucking probably told her to do that shit, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe she was just doing damage control.
Or whoever higher up than HR, too. Like,
yeah. Whoever. And I know that because HR doesn't even work in that building anymore. They moved specifically to a different building because of how ratchet the fucking American Dream Mall is and how many fucking fights break out at that spot. Just separate the wheat from the chaff real quick, huh? And, so I told her, what is going to happen to me in my job if I don't delete that tweet? She says, I don't know, I just have to talk to HR, that's not on me. So I tell her, okay, why don't you go fucking talk to HR? You come back here, tell me what they said, and I will tell you if I'm going to delete the fucking tweet. And those were my exact words. I'm not being facetious or passive-aggressive with the story anymore. That is just literally verbatim what I said. She gets the biggest scowl on her face. That is not what she wanted to hear. Walks away, tails between her legs. Comes back, tail even deeper between her legs, and tells me, okay. Because they didn't want to lose me. I was one of their top salesmen in the ERC. They did not want me to quit. She comes back and says, okay, we can't tell you to delete that. And I'm like, oh, really? And tries to do... How about that, right? You know, maybe I should have...
Freedom of speech! Oh, yeah.
You know, maybe I should have fucking treated that kid better. They had their fucking Paulie Walnuts moment.
What happened next, David?
Shoutouts to the commenter from yesterday who corrected Dennis on the bipolar.
Oh, yeah, thank you for that.
I didn't know anything. I've never watched the show. Dennis doesn't comment. I'll tell
so
him...
if anything... By extension, you know, after the fact, thank you for correcting me. Yes. I got that mixed up. So
yeah, we mean that seriously. We're not being, like, head asses about
that.
No,
yeah.
How dare you?
I'm being actually serious. Thank you for that. Because I really thought I knew shit. I thought I knew, but I guess I didn't.
So it happens. So.
Back to American fuck you, Mo.
That was the day that I started looking for another job.
Took a shooting for him to realize maybe I shouldn't be here.
And to top all of it off, you might be wondering, well, why are you bringing this up all of a sudden? David, what inspired you to suddenly go on this tirade or expose about the American Dream Mall when you haven't worked there for 2 years? You said this was like back in 2022.
Wait, so when is this Saturday? We will be this should have been posted on the 12th of October. Did this shit happen Tuesday or like today or Monday? Yeah, today, Tuesday on October 8th. Just to give you like guys a bit of a, you know, just reminder, you know, like where we're at when we record. Continue, David.
What happened today was, well, you might remember, I don't work there anymore. I work as a traveling merchandiser for a company, doing merchandising and installs for several different brands. It's the same company that I work for when I work for Nintendo seasonally. I worked a couple-month gig doing Samsung stuff for them, other like stuff for Google, Hewlett-Packard, like whatever companies decide to hire a third-party marketing firm to install all the signage and stuff that you see in retail stores. Mm-hmm. I was doing an assignment there today, installing a translucent backlight as well as an all-in-one computer. And it's only when I'm done with the computer and having to do a checkout with the people I have to call that all of a sudden the Best Buy Blue Shirts start telling us to evacuate. I'm like, what? Like, again? Like, what is... No one's specifying... no one's specifying what's happening. This happened today, the day I'm recording this, mind you. There's a cop walking into the Best Buy seemingly to warn everybody, and... I asked him, like, what's going on? I think he said, we don't know yet. I'm like, what did I tell him? I told him, like, he asked me where I was parked. I said, I'm parked in lot C or whatever. He's like, all right, don't go to level 1. That's all he says, don't go to level 1. I'm like, fuck, why can't I go to level 1? Shit. Oh, I see people walking out towards the place and whatnot. I'm like, fuck me, why is there always some fuck shit happening at this fucking place? I walk out. I run out, I should say, because I don't know what the hell's going on, because nobody will answer anything. Get in my car. I try to get out through the other lot. Guy wouldn't let me. And this is where you're going to love this, right? What happened was they received a mysterious package. And there was a bomb threat. There was a mysterious vehicle or something, saw a mysterious package, told the cops came in and told everybody get the fuck out. Like, in the whole building, get the fuck out. And this is where you're going to love it. You remember when I mentioned that this place was $6 billion in the hole?
Yeah.
Emergency situation. Alarms aren't going off yet, but they are going off in the elevators. Crowd of people or crowd of cars already behind the one exit in the fucking parking lot, because that's fucking safe. Totally not a fire hazard. Trying to get out of this place. The little, you have to pay to park at the spot, which is already terrible enough. But then, like, you pay to get in and out, has, like, the little gate goes up in any parking garage. I'll put an example on screen right now. You see those? They didn't just go up to let people evacuate. I still had to pay to leave.
I was actually going to ask that. Yeah.
In a fucking emergency situation. I had to fucking pay $533 to get the fuck out. Which has to be violating some sort of fucking fire code, among other things. Like, Jesus fucking Christ! You've gotta be joking me. I was livid. I couldn't fucking believe it. Like, what if, like, somebody dropped their credit card as they're evacuating the place? All of a sudden, not only they can't get out, the whole fucking thing is backed up. And then people will be stuck there for hours, which, by the way, last year there was a colossal error, by the way, in the fucking systems to pay to park out. And instead of just opening the gates and letting people leave, they stranded them there for hours. Because through the one exit. You can look this up. I'll throw that on screen right now as well. I remember that fucking story as well. They wouldn't let people leave because the payment system was broken.
Yeah, I would have, like, collectively gotten, like, out of the car with 10 other guys and just, like, tore that shit off.
People were abandoning their vehicles. They were stuck there for hours. Imagine being in an endless gridlock in a parking garage for multiple hours on end. All because you stupid fucking pricks don't know what to do with your money. You keep spending, and increasing your deficit, your debt that is already $6 billion on shit that you can't. I walked in the place and they're opening a fucking movie theater and a bar, which is like also like a karaoke place.
It's too little, too late.
It's too little, too fucking late, bro. They wouldn't let people leave because of how desperate they were for money. And in an emergency situation where there was a literal fucking bomb threat today, a confirmed, we still had to pay to exit. And I'm sure they lifted it by now. But
oh, is your life in danger? $5, please.
I hate everything about that mall. To the fucking letter. This is what inspired me to actually start telling these stories today, and I wasn't prepared to talk about this. So consider this my sort of scrapped together illegitimate exposé of the American Dream Mall, if you would. Because it was inspired to do it today. And me and Dennis, we don't fuck with malls in general. We don't like them. We'll go there if we have to. But most of the time, we don't have to. Yeah. We're Jersey boys. We go to fucking strip malls where there's a deli right there that you can grab a great sandwich in the meantime.
And even if I'm going to a mall, I'm probably just going to GSP, truthfully. And even people outside of Bergen County go to GSP.
GSP, so. What's that? Is that an already existing massive shopping mall?
Yes.
Literally right next to one that they decided to open?
And try to compete against?
Huh. That's crazy. Holy fucking shit, that is nuts. Wow. These are the same stupid fucking pricks that opened a mall, right? They opened a mall in I think only one county, is Bergen County, New Jersey, the one county in the entire fucking country that still has blue laws. And if you don't know what blue laws are, they're laws that require you to have like a day off on the weekend or something. Stores are not allowed to be open. I think it's rooted in religious reasons.
Not all stores, but ones that sell like clothing, electronics, and like such and such. Like
non-essentials.
Places like that.
Basically.
Yeah, places like that are basically forbidden to be open and like they have to be closed for Sundays. And yeah, it's stupid as fuck.
No, what's stupid as fuck is opening a mall there that close to several other malls 30 minutes from the fucking Palisades one, too! And GSP here, and the Paramus Park one, and the fucking, what is the one that you went to? The West something?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I don't remember, but it's the West something, I forget what it's called. There's the shitty Jersey City one, too. I hate that place, too.
Yeah,
that
no one likes
fucking
Newport.
Sucks.
For anyone who's, like, not from around here, and, like, you're hearing all this, like, Jersey speak, like, just know that virtually...
There's a billion shopping malls. We did
There's
not
a billion
need another
shopping
one.
malls, and, like, the American Dream was a completely unnecessary addition to that entire list. And, it's... I'd even say arguably, like, I think it is the biggest one, but I think also it's just, like, it's the most unnecessary fucking thing, like, ever for this state. And
they should have just opened the parks. They should have just done the parks, because that's where all their money comes from. This is confirmed by my manager, by the way. She told me this. I'll go off on this expose too. Every dollar that goes towards the Nickelodeon theme park that they have there, every fucking dollar goes towards paying off the debt that they owe. Every dollar. It's got the biggest indoor water park too. I took this fucker there once. There was an employee night. We went there once.
It's pretty fun.
Me, you, and Dane sat there with some girl filming a twerking TikTok, literally right next to me. Her ass in my face, like didn't even.
It smelled like pee.
Her ass wasn't even that nice.
It smelled like pee.
And we all got COVID. That was when Delta was going crazy. That shit was awful. It sucks because I love the aesthetic of a mall, but I just can't feel safe there anymore.
I mean, well,
people are just so fucking ratchet now, and specifically the types of people that shop at the Dream, which is insane considering how fucking overpriced and expensive everything is there. You know those little handhelds that they sell? 121 games in one, like those little shitty handhelds they have at Target in the bargain bin section? Yeah. There was a kiosk selling those for $70.
$70?
They upticked the price by $50 fucking dollars. They literally did like a well over 50%, I think fucking 75% price increase. But you bought it from the Dream Mall, so it's special. But anyway.
There was also a stabbing there.
Yeah, that go figure. A YouTuber also got like caught in a fucking he got like harassed there to the point where he had to lock himself in a store once. It was terrible. Yeah, fucking weirdos. They have concerts at that place too, and people don't know how to act. People get ratchet and start standing on top of like shit that they shouldn't. They're so desperate for money, Dennis, that they open that mall to anybody. Oh, I forgot about this story. I'll never forget. It was like 9:30 at night. I'm chilling at my kiosk at the end of the day. All of a sudden, Jake Paul and his whole fucking posse vaping off the side of one of the go-karts that they drive around the place, the golf carts, hanging off of the thing, just casually strolling through the place in a way that they would never let anybody else do. Just doing that shit, vaping like the fucking little pathetic little teenage fucking douchebags that they are, and probably teenage fuckers as well. With security running up behind them like, escorting the VIP. VIP is almost to the Nickelodeon park, because he rented out the park after dark. They started letting YouTubers rent the place out after dark. You remember when Mr. Beast was doing like his whole thing at that mall, Mr. Beast Burger? When he was doing that whole shit? The first Mr. Beast Burger restaurant to ever be opened, it was at the American Dream Mall. People were camping out there because they thought Jimmy was going to give him free money. And the only thing he was giving them was the only thing they would have gotten is fucking Geneva Convention violations. That's all they would have gotten instead. He dipped like 12 minutes after, too. He just made a shitty little video because he rented out the place the night before as well. They just let YouTubers rent out the place. Steve Aoki did a concert there in the Nick Park once. They did some event for drag queens where they were serving alcohol in the Nick Park too, and they were projectile vomiting off of like the fucking roller coasters. I'm really glad I wasn't there for that. Would have been funny as hell seeing one of those people like roll up drunk as fuck, like, excuse me, honey. That would have been fucking... Okay, Jesus. So this is how desperate this place is for money. That they do all this shit that is frankly pretty unethical, as well as just shitty in general. That they let people just break the rules as long as they're willing to fork up the cash. Just because these people don't know how to handle their money. I'll tell you something. You remember when I brought up the Mall of America before we were looking up the biggest malls or whatever? The Mall of America, when you think of American malls, I'm really glad that that's the one most people still think of. But here's the thing. The biggest manufacturer or owner of malls, or one of the biggest ones, is called the Simon Malls. They own the Garden State Plaza, Dennis.
Okay.
They used to own the Mall of America. The family that owns the American Dream Mall purchased the Mall of America from Simon Malls some many years ago. So it became theirs. My manager was telling me this story. The same one who told me I had to delete the tweet, who HR told her to, like, fucking come here and do that. She told me, because she didn't give a fuck either. She told me they made so many heinous decisions that mall, which was one of the more popular ones in the country, still in the green, in the red by the time that they were pretty much done with it. They made so many shit decisions that the board of investors kicked them the fuck out. They bought their shares and told them, get the fuck out of our state. And that's why the American Dream Mall is still in the red and will always be in the red until the government one day will seize their assets.
Because there's probably a lot of fraud going on at that place.
Yeah. Oh, are you kidding? Because the family that owns it lives around here. They're more local. So they bought it from the Simon Malls many years back. They got kicked out. And they're more local. That's why the American Dream Mall is still failing. It's because they're still involved and they're legitimately the stupidest businessmen you'll ever meet in your life. The same people who opened a mall in the one county in the country where blue laws could happen because their hubris was so big and this was confirmed to me in the town hall meeting that I went to one morning where the owner of the place was speaking to all of us, saying, we've been working with Murphy and like fighting the blue laws every step of the way. We're gonna get that law changed. They came in here thinking this place is gonna be so close to New York City, we have to open it here.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just change the laws because we can do that. They still haven't done it. It's been years. Still going on. Pretty fucking stupid. This mall is so cursed to the point where, you know, it spent 20 years in development. I'll throw this meme on screen. You're not from Jersey unless you drive by 17 and you know what the fuck this building was because it was under construction for years. You remember driving past that place, Dennis, and all of us, every single time we drove past it, we were all like, what the fuck is that place? What is it? Guy died, by the way, building it, by the way. That story I don't have confirmed, but I heard there was a guy who died building it.
There's already like 5 to 6 deaths involved with this fucking place.
People think his ghost like roams the place and that's why it's cursed. There was one girl who worked there with us who was a legitimate conspiracy theorist and would tell me all sorts of weird shit about that spot.
So, the American Dream Mall was opened in apparently according to Google's AI, was opened in 2 stages. The first being in October 25th, 2019. And it was when the Nickelodeon Universe theme park was opened along with it. The second opening was in December 5th, 2019, when the indoor ski slope had opened. You know, the one that caught on fire. That, you know, was
Thank you for reminding me of that story, by the way.
Was such a meme, like, when I heard it. It was like such a, like, it's like...
Thank you for reminding me of that story,
you know,
by the way.
We have Florida. Where the people are the news. They're just that, like, you know, it's just that entertaining to read about, you know? Like
we all know the
people.
Florida Man game, where you type in your birthday and then Florida Man, and then you find out what your Florida crime is.
For fucking Jersey. Our fucking source of news is the fucking mall. Like, you know, as a state, let me just say right now, okay? As a state, I think we're pretty well behaved. Truthfully. I think we don't really do anything. We're just paying taxes up the fucking ass when we're living here. And that's it. Like, that's what we mostly complain about. And the fucking traffic nowadays. Because, like, going from the Lincoln and the bridge fucking sucks now. Like, if any of you live near Fort Lee or anywhere, like, that's probably our worst problem, usually, when we are just trying to get the fuck home. You know? I have never seen a place that's been in the news this fucking often. I have never seen a place in my life that has been in the news this often.
It's haunted.
And let me also preface this by saying...
I'm telling you, it's fucking cursed.
No, it is cursed. And let me just bring up a place by comparison, because this place has also had its fair share of problems. Fucking GSP. GSP... I don't think it had shootings, but I think it had, like, a lot of...
There was one once.
Yeah,
there was one.
Yeah, there was one.
Some teenager. He brought like a semi-automatic, rifle, and started like firing it. It was weird. Yeah,
like a World War II rifle. Is like
something like that. Maybe he was trying to make a statement. Maybe he was trying to be like, "This is why we need to get rid of the guns because you see how ineffective this is. Like just the one rifle doing this
compared to like an AR-15.
There's a curfew at that place on the weekends now.
No, yeah, exactly.
9 o'clock. Teenagers got to get the fuck out, right?
The place, though, at the same time, like, I think they're actually doing some expansion right now at the moment where they actually tore down that Best Buy that was actually within their plaza and like they're putting something else up now. I think they moved the Best Buy somewhere else at this point in time.
Yeah, the one on 17. My mom just told me about that, which is fitting because I visited that spot a lot for my jobs. Mm-hmm. No one shopped at that Best Buy.
No.
It was always so clean, and it was so clean, not even because they cleaned it really well, which they did. They were really good employees there.
There's nobody coming there.
There's 2 Best Buys in Paramus. We didn't need 2 fucking Best Buys in Paramus.
I know, because like I think most like big chain store type of company, like I mean I say chain stores, but I probably could have said that better. But like companies like Best Buy, where their brick and mortar locations are literally the lifeblood of their company. I don't know. It's always so it's more attractive for I think a lot of businesses when they see that like a mall space open and it's just like fuck, we gotta put our shit in there. But I think Best Buy probably straight up forgot that they already had a spot like fucking Route 17. They like legit forgot and then like said, okay, got the paperwork in, the place is getting ready to be built. It's like, wait, what is that? Like you just see like this fucking point on the map where it shows where the Route 17 location is.
You would think, but there's one at the American Dream Mall. That was one of the stores I visited. That's why I was there today. I was visiting the Best Buys doing an install, and I was at the other Paramus one before that.
Bet you wish you went to the Paramus one last, huh?
I wish the install I did wasn't even successful. There was something wrong with it, and I wound up being there way longer than I should have. It had actually gone smoothly. I would have been way the fuck out of that place before the shit went down. But yeah, honestly, as far as those malls go, man, this one, you know, it's been in the news as often as it is because like
place sucks ass.
It's fucking cursed. And we're not even talking about when shit gets actually deadly. Cause now it's time to talk about the big snow. On top of having the Nickelodeon theme park, which is the only thing fucking carrying the place, along with the DreamWorks water park, which, not even the DreamWorks water park, I swear to God, way more people go to the Nick park than they do the DreamWorks water park, truthfully. There is the Big Snow, which is the largest indoor ski park in the country. It's huge. It's a big old fucking snow ramp, and, you know, I shit on malls a lot. Or I shit on the American Dream Mall a lot. Aesthetically, the place is gorgeous. You know, malls are. I love a mall aesthetic. I really do, especially older malls and like 80s, vaporwave, that good shit. I love to turn on those lo-fi playlists and just vibe to a simpler time before social media ruined everything. It's the best. The bee's knees. And one thing I did when I was there with my little nephews and my cousins, we ate at the yard house that's there, and they have a giant window with a view to the place where you just watch people like go down. And it's honestly pretty cool. Like, you say these things, like, there's some cool things about the place. It's just owned by some of the greatest shitheads that have ever shitted in their heads before.
And just, as a whole, the place is a bit of a shithole. So, like...
Oh, because it's taxpayer funded. You know, even though a lot of people didn't even want it here. Or partially taxpayer funded, I should say. Yeah, so where I'm going with this is, we've talked about this one on the podcast before, actually, many moons ago. Yeah, a guy died there. Yeah, it was, a National Guard dude. Of the ripe young age of, I think, 19. I don't remember the story. Dennis, if you could be my resident Google correspondent, if you could assist in looking up this story for me so I can get the facts. A guy died there. He was in the National Guard. Went down. He either went down a slope or something happened in error, like off of his ski lift. I don't remember what it was, but he smacked his cranium real hard on something. I think he bled out or just like they just suffered out. Please, if you could.
So this is off of Google's generative AI. So like, you know,
just click the link below it to the actual story.
I don't know. It's the first. Like, this is why I knew Google did this. Like, of course, it's gonna be the first thing I read. But so robots are coming. Bro. I said bro as if I knew the guy. Yo, bro died on December 14th.
Sound like a fucking TikToker right now. Yo, right, deadass bro died here. Well, blood must have been from Ohio, for real.
Peter R. Matthews, who was an airman first class, he was a member of the Air National Guard by Bayshore, Long Island. He had fell and hit his head on the slope and was rushed to Hackensack University Medical Center, where he unfortunately died. And then the fire happened, like, of course, like the year before. So, like, you know, there was a lot of goings on in this fucking place. A lot of goings on.
Yeah. National Guard dude lost his life at that fucking spot. I wish there were more developments to that story. Were there more developments to that story? Did they give his family money? Was there any lawsuit? How did they sweep that under the rug? What happened?
So he was wearing a helmet, but he apparently fell backward while snowboarding, and he hit his head and became unconscious. Steve Patrol responded to a gas incident. New Jersey State Police at 9:14. Unresponsive male who was snowboarding. He's airman first class. Generally an amazing person. Yeah, there was tweets about the guy. Following his father from playing a pilot. Survived his parents. In lieu, so it doesn't. At least they're not saying it in here. That if they were, if the family was asking for money, they were asking, just for donations, to Gospel Missions of India. Not really seeing. I mean,
I would have taken money.
I mean, well, yeah,
obviously. I would have taken money from that spot. I wouldn't have felt bad for the big the big, beautiful, happy corporation that needs all that money. Like, I would have been like, fuck you, give me my shit.
Can I say something? Because, like, currently what I'm working at right now deals with property and casualty insurance. And the guy that I'm working under, he's been telling me that, like, there's been even a couple of properties even around New Jersey that he's kind of looked into for deals and such. And I would be so gung-ho, because I'm not there yet where I could, like, handle a case by myself, but I would love to just go through this place's fucking books. I would love to just see, like, how much this place could even be insured for, and what the valuation of this place even is, just on, like, on a sheet. Because this place is...
Those books are cooked in more ways than one, Dennis.
Maybe the day will come where I will go through this place's books, maybe. But, like, that would be so just dramatically
if you
appropriate.
bestowed that honor. Yeah. You and me were the ones who took down the American Dream Mall, which, knock on wood, I'm not saying I necessarily want to happen, because a lot of people would lose their jobs, or innocent people would.
So, but what we're saying, though, is that, like, this place is built on corruption and hubris. This place, if anything, like, just deserves to go under. Not the people in it, of course, and not the people who work in it, but just the place itself, because, for one, the last thing, amidst everything else that's being built up right now in New Jersey, the last thing we ever needed was just another fucking shopping mall off the fucking exit of a highway that forces you to pay for parking. And here's the thing, though, too. Let me just also say, GSP could have easily, and I mean this honestly, GSP could have easily installed a park-to-pay system if they wanted to. And I think people would still be going there regardless. It's like, the location-wise, like, you just can't beat it. You just really can't beat it. And they never did. Because... maybe, I'm not saying that, okay, the guys who own GSP are less scumbaggy than the guys who, own American Dream, but...
which they are.
Which they are, yeah.
They are absolutely less scummy. It's still owned by the Simon Malls.
Mm-hmm. But, like, you know... I don't know. I feel as if for a lot of malls out there, because Paramus is almost mall central, truthfully. And, and even Ridgewood also, like, if you go further there. But, that whole, like, area, it's just like, I bet they all looked at American Dream and said, okay, everything they've been doing, let's just not do that, and we'll be fine. Like, it'll just be like a textbook, like, you know, cautionary tale. We just look at what they're doing, take notes, do everything not what they're doing, and we'll probably just prosper, because...
they probably look at that place and just laugh.
They probably do!
They probably just fucking laugh. Do. I walk into GSP on, like, a Friday afternoon, there's people.
It's packed. Although, to be fair, I have my own reasons of hatred for that. Like, I hate it when places are packed. But
I hate malls in general, too. I also don't like when places are packed either. I'm going to Comic-Con next week with my girlfriend. I'm not looking forward to that. I'm not, if I'm being honest. Not that I don't want to spend time with her. It has nothing to do with her. I mean, she's my gal. She's my gal. I like her and shit. It's conventions. It's people. I don't like the people.
Smell.
And the stink. True.
It smells.
The gamers.
It smells like ass sometimes, guys, at conventions. Like, I haven't been to one in a while, but I've gone to enough places where it's like a mecca for nerds, and I fucking hate it sometimes. Like,
I mean, you're a fucking card game player. Those people legitimately reek worse than Smash.
That already, is already kind of,
You can imagine being at a Smash convention, which I've been to plenty of. It's not as bad as you think. I mean, they're usually so big that it's usually not that much of an outlier, but every now and again, you always have a motherfucker who just, like...
who just wouldn't take a bath. Or take a shower, really.
Who just shouldn't be allowed outside of their house, like, ever.
Yeah.
To be honest. But, yeah. They probably just look at that place and laugh, especially when they decided you have to pay to park there, because that alone is enough of a reason to shop at GSP. I don't know why these people didn't just lean into the theme park aesthetic and just not have to expand on this whole fucking property.
It could have been another fucking Universal in New Jersey. That would have been fucking awesome if it was.
Yeah.
People would have paid for that.
Not to mention Nickelodeon has a history of giving their side projects shit budgets. It's half the reason Danny Phantom ended. It's part of the reason that the NASB games don't have as much of polish. And it's probably a chunk of the reason as to why the Nicktoons park sucks. Or, like, it maybe isn't as good as it should be, even though it's, like, one of the best things about that place. It's crazy, man. Truly. So, if you've made it this far, I'm really proud of you. And as a result, you get one more story. And this is more a funny one rather than one of, personal post-traumatic stress.
Punch someone in the face.
No. I almost did once because some drunk fucking Phillies fan, because football games happened there, so we would get football players there on Sundays, came up and tackled me from behind, literally hugged me, manhandled me, and shit. Was screaming in my ear, was hitching rides on the, like, clearly fucking drunk or some shit. Like, he was, like, just started touching me and shit. It was fucking awful. He's a fucking Cowboys fan. That's, explains everything. Yeah. Oh, I totally forgot to mention I got pink eye working there once. Because kids are disgusting. And, like, some kid, like, put his fucking fingers in his booty hole and then touched the toys that I had. And I guess I just never noticed, or I didn't, like, maybe he touched his booty hole, like, further away. So when they're not trying to steal my shit, which, like, some of them have, or just kids just don't understand the concept of money and don't understand these things are,
Yeah, you're gonna learn that real early on, kid.
I'm talking, like, very small children. I literally got pink eye because I think I touched my eyes or rubbed my eyes off of that. And I had to take time off work. I got literal shit in my eye working at the fucking mall. God, I hate that place. When I'm not running for my life, I'm getting literal fucking fecal matter in orifices that they're not supposed to go in. Christ almighty. But, worst part about that spot, I never got laid there. And I tried. I really tried. I really fucking tried.
Let me also just say something. A shithole location attracts shit people. I
completely forgot to mention. Fights broke out at that place all the time. I saw so much domestic violence of people leaving the Nick Park. I saw women getting their hair dragged, and shit. No one ever screamed WorldStar, but I almost did once. I almost. No, seriously, because, like, people got fucking ghetto there, dude. Ghetto-ass fucking people shopping down. Which is insane, considering how fucking ridiculously expensive everything is there. But the location trumps all of that, I guess. You get a certain breed of New Yorker, you get the fuckers in, like, the fucking Side Talk videos. I'm amazed Side Talk has not made a video in that fucking mall yet.
Probably don't want to because they have to go pay.
And also because it's probably not actually in New York. I think one of the rules is that they don't leave the state to do it. The whole theme is that it is New York.
That's good.
Yeah,
it's in
that's good.
It's
they should do it. I think they've gone to the Pal Park before, I think. No, they haven't. I don't remember. But
Pal Park, like Broad Ave Pal Park? Like...
No. Palisades. My fault. The Palisades.
Oh, the Palisades Mall.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they've been. No, they haven't. I don't know. It's crazy, man. Like, I saw people getting their hair dragged, like throwing shit down at each other, yelling at each other as if no one's watching. Like, it's just a fucking madhouse. If you think malls in general are madhouses when you go there, there is hell has no fury like the American Dream Mall. People get so ghetto there. I've seen so many people get fucking arrested at that place and just walk out in cuffs. I've even had employees that work there who were stealing from the spot, like walked away with like $1,000. Guy was dating one of the managers. Damn. Shit was wild. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. He was such a chill dude too. Honestly, you never know. Was he keck or was he cringe? He steal from the big corporation, but do he get caught? Who knows? Literally dating one of the managers too. That was the wild part. And but I guess if
though.
No disrespect to her, not my type. But yeah. Oh, the BBLs. There's BBLs everywhere. So many women with fake asses. I saw a woman with one. I literally measured it from my camera. It extended like literally 1.5 feet off her waist. It was comical. I've never even seen a woman with an ass like that on fucking Pornhub or Brazzers. I couldn't help but take a picture of it. Like, and I don't want to be that guy to take pictures of strangers, but I even showed my fucking manager. I'm like, this is it was a woman, by the way. Like, this is ridiculous, right? And she was like, she even looked at it and she was like, what the fuck? It was absurd. But before we get to an hour, if you made it this far, I have one last quick story. And I'll do my best. I hate to interrupt you, Dennis, but I want to get it in before we get to an hour.
Go.
Big snow. Yeah, a guy died there. As well as, like some kiosks or like some, the DreamWorks characters that hang above the DreamWorks park. 4 of them falling down and landing on a kid. That was funny. The big snow. Before the controversy of the guy dying there was a different one. We came in one morning and we weren't allowed to go into the mall. 10 a.m., everybody's outside. We're like, what the fuck is going on? I'm with my boy Skylar, who was the co-manager of my kiosk. I miss Skylar. Shoutouts to you, bro. We're outside. We're talking about how much the place sucks because we don't know what's going on. They had us wait out there for 3 hours. They wouldn't just let us go home because they refused to close the mall. There was something happening inside. We thought it was a gas leak. I didn't want to go in if it was a gas leak. So I get there at 10 for my shift. We're not allowed to go until 1. I work a 3-hour shift because like half my shift was already over. What happened was one of the snow generators at the snow park at 4 o'clock in the fucking morning exploded. You're probably noticing if you're watching the video podcast all the web links that I'm having. We cite our sources on the show as well as
as much as we
put them
don't
up on screen.
With...
You've always said we don't deal with facts. As much as we don't deal with facts, we deal with headlines, not facts. Let's go with that. We're like Twitter, basically. Just read the headline and then get mad as fuck before even like knowing what actually happened. Mm-hmm. It exploded in the middle of the night. And instead of closing the place, they still made us all go in and just wait 3 hours outside. Which isn't even the ridiculous part of the story. I'm going to play a little game with Dennis to see if he even remembers. We're going to play 3 questions.
Okay.
20 questions is too much. We don't
probably going to get all these wrong, but...
No. What country do you think they had to order?
Egypt.
Yeah, you remember.
Yeah.
Because Egypt is the only place in the world with an indoor snow park equivalent to the Big Snow in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Fucking Egypt! The country that's all sand! Which, at first, I thought was so comically ridiculous. Like, really? The country that's all sand is the one that you ordered? Like, is the only place in the world that you can purchase a snow generator that can produce snow on that level? And the reason for that is because they have the actual or other biggest snow park in the world, which I thought was ridiculous because it's the, country of all sand. But then I realized that makes the most sense because that's the only place you can get snow in Egypt.
Well, the only way you can get snow.
Exactly. So I guess it makes sense that they have a snow park down there that's sort of like that. I just thought that was hilarious, truthfully. It's like being like, we need sand for our artificial beach that we are creating. We're going to order it from Greenland. like or like fucking Russia. Like the biggest sand park is in Russia. Thank you, Dennis. And thank you to the audience. I hope you enjoyed this one. I thought this would be the perfect time to talk about it, considering what happened and all the viewership we've been getting recently. Thank you so much for all the love, truly. Then for making Dennis's episode specifically the most listened to one, or among the top 5, I think, or top 10 at the very least. I don't know if it's top 5 most listened to episodes we've ever had. We really appreciate that, guys. Truly.
Gabagool, yo.
Gabagool, yo. Dennis, do you have anything else you have to say? Yeah, I interrupted you to tell that story before we wrap here.
Oh, no, because like, I was just going to say, like, I have 2 friends who used to work at the Vandal casino that was, like, pretty close to the mall, actually.
Okay.
They were, like, in the Meadowlands. And, like,
makes sense. It's, like, next to the stadium, yeah.
Yeah, it's, like, right there. And, like, yeah, they would also tell me, like, of all, like, the crazy shit that they would see, like, over there, even. And I even just think, like, that whole, like, Meadowlands, like, stadium, complex area shit. Place is just fucking cursed. It's like, it just attracts, like, the worst people. Like, just garbage people.
Another one vendor once told me that the land that it's built on is not secure. Because it's in a swamp, and that he believes eventually, due to climate change, it's gonna sink.
Yeah, I could believe that. I could absolutely believe that.
God knows I'm not gonna be in there for that one. I refuse.
Oh, boy.
We're done. Here's the plugs. If you enjoyed what you listened to, this is the Double D experience, baby. You can share it wherever you get your podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, which doesn't exist anymore. Never mind, you can't share it on Google Podcasts. Spotify, where you can leave us a 5-star review. Helps with our SEO a lot. And, of course, here at youtube.com/Nintoonist, where you get very rare occasional gaming podcast, but the shittiest weekly podcast you've ever heard in your life. I like to do a little bit of a mixture of both. We love you guys. Hope you very much enjoyed this little expose. I had to get this out. I really had to get this off my chest.
Don't go to the American Dream Mall.
Don't go there. It's overrated as fucking insanely expensive. If your kids really want to go see the Nick Park, bring them there. Do not walk around this place and just... That's it. Get your shit and get out. Get the merch.
Yeah, and pay that $5 parking.
Yep. Fuckers.
I hate paying for parking, man.
We love y'all. Mwah.
Bitch ass mall. Hoe ass mall.
I was gonna fucking say.